Okay, I promised you some great videos. And for those of you who've just landed here out of the blue and you just found this video, I'm Laurie Wheeler and I am the indie coach. I mentor independent creative entrepreneurs through the interesting business of being a solopreneur on their own, trying to take on the world and show all those doubters and haters that, yeah, you can make a living doing what you love, but you got to have a plan. And in order to make the next year the best year, there are a couple things you need to do. And the first thing we need to take a look at, I actually cover in my workbook, and that is your guidebook to the road, thriving on the road less traveled, how not to eat ramen the rest of your life. I use it in the boot camp, in the workshops, and it's always available to my Indie Lifers in the Indie Life support group. So what we cover in the first stage there, the first stage is Journey to the Center of You. And if you can catch that science fiction book reference, I'd love you to put it in the comments below. But the Journey to the Center of You is the most important part of the planning, because if you don't have this part set, then nothing is going to work right. It won't matter how good your budget is or how smart you're being, because you're going to be way too much in here and you're not going to be connected to the rest of who you are. And that's where the economy fails every single time. It's when everybody's up here like they were educated to be in school and in college, and we were all taught, you just got to stay in your head. Couldn't be further from the truth. And trust me, this comes to you from a brainiac. So one of the biggest lessons I had to learn was how to get out of my head, into my body, and really feel it. So the first thing I want you to do is, if you have the workbook, I want you to turn to page 14, read that little paragraph. And it's all about understanding that you've been going about it the wrong way. You were trained to be an employee. Well, if you're self-employed or a freelancer, you're not an employee anymore. They're hiring you to solve a problem. That means, guess what? You're in business. So if you're in business, then you're not an employee. You're being contracted with. That means you have negotiating power. It means you have something they really want. If they didn't want you, they wouldn't hire you. So first thing, you need to stop focusing on the skill sets you have. Great, you can use Microsoft Office. So can the rest of the world. Great, you have an iPhone and you know how to do social media on it. So do millions of other people. Great, you've been trained as a life coach, you're certified. So have a lot of other people. And in fact, you don't even have to be certified to be a life coach. So what does that really mean? If you're a dime a dozen in your profession, how do you stand out? And that's why you're watching the video. I hear you. You're like, Laurie, I've been asking these questions. Don't worry, I've got an answer. So what happens is, on the next page of the workbook, if you have that, and if you don't have it, again, there's a link below to the book on Amazon. You can click that and get it really easy. I've kept it really in a great price range. If you can't scrape together that, then we've got to have a chat. So what you're going to do is you're going to look on the next page, is page 15, and you're going to read the instructions, or you're going to watch this video as I walk you through them. So everybody's going to get comfortable. Now we're going to do something that you do in yoga, and we're not going to call it meditation right now, even though it is a form of meditation, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We're just going to get relaxed. Okay, so you're going to take a deep breath in through your nose, and you're going to exhale deeply, and really make that sound. Why? Because you're totally relaxing. Now, the neuroscience behind this is really pretty special. You're de-stressing. When your brain is stressed out, you can't make decisions, you can't be creative. Have you ever tried to do anything creative, whether it's cooking or artwork or writing or working even on your website? And if you're totally stressed out, that's where you hit the blocks. That's where the limiting beliefs come in. That's where the pressure fills in. That's where the panic is. And guess what? You don't make good decisions there. So we need you to be in a good decision mode. So you're going to, just go ahead and close your eyes and take a nice deep breath, and then out. Feel how much more relaxed. Do it a couple times. It takes practice, but even notice my voice is softer. I've slowed down, my brain's gotten more oxygen. It's a really nice, very euphoric feeling. Bill, it's really easy to start floating. So what I want you to do is make sure your feet are planted firmly on the ground, because we need to bring ourselves back into the body, because we're going to be doing some cerebral work here now. We're going to bring our mind into the body. So, and you're like, what does this have to do with business? Everything, my friend. Keep listening. So, on page 16, there's space to write, and you're going to write all the things that float your boat. What do you love to do? Okay, what do you love to do? What is your favorite thing? Even if you're a life coach, is your favorite thing to do for fun baking? Is your favorite thing to do for fun climbing mountains? Is your favorite thing to do for fun fishing? Do you prefer to garden? Do you like making, herbal remedies? Even if that's not what you plan on doing for a living, I want you to write it down. Do you love to write? Can you never imagine a day without writing? Do you love to study? And what is it that you love to study? What are your serious hobbies? This is really important stuff, guys. So you're going to write all of this down, even if it seems completely unrelated to what you do as a business. Is it something to do, and it's stuff you do, interests, things that interest you, things you like to do for fun. So list as many of those out as you can, maybe, 20, 30 different things. Hopefully you have that many interests. It could be playing video games. It doesn't have to be good for you, okay? It just have to be stuff you like and you really like. And then what you're going to do is on the next page, okay, and you may not be done with this yet, but, unless we want this to be like an hour-long video where I walk you step by step and I read everything out, which nobody's going to watch that, right? None of us have time for long videos. So what I want you to do, if you have the workbook, save the spot. No, you've got to do the exercise. We're going to move along to the next exercise there, and that is deciding what's important to you. So on that list of interests, there's got to be at least 5 to 10 that really float your boat. I mean, like completely. Like you cannot imagine life without these things. You love to do them so much. In fact, you would earn more money to do that. It could be traveling, okay? It could be traveling. It could be being with your family. It could be playing volleyball. I don't know what you like to do. In fact, hey, why don't you let me know in the comments below? Let me know what you like to do for fun. So, what is it that really floats your boat? Because even if it seems like you really can't use it in your business, I'm going to show you how to use it in your marketing, in your business to help create products. Because the reason why big companies get away with being a lot more general in their marketing and advertising, and trust me, they do a lot of specific research, but one of the reasons they get away with being so much wider is they have a much bigger marketing budget. You and I don't tend to have that kind of marketing power behind us. So we can't just really hammer it home with lots of television ads or even YouTube videos. So what we have to do is get so specific. That's what they call niching, right? So specific. But we can't do that accurately if we're just making it up. We have to come from a place of love. We have to love it so much we would do it for free, and we already do it for free. That's what's going to make you excel in the marketplace. So you're going to pick the 5 to 10 things that you wrote on the first exercise we did, where we did the nice breathing, and go ahead and do that again if you want. It'll slow you down. You pick out top 5 up to 10, but really the less the better. And then you're going to sit down and really look at what's important to you. Okay? So we've looked at the interests, and then which interests are the most important to you. Those are the things that, you would give up everything to be able to do those, all right? Those are the first things you run to do when you need some you time, right? We all have those things, whatever it is. So the next thing we're going to be looking at then is what's important. So the interests are the things you love the most. You love to do these things so much, whether it's playing with the kids and it really should be for you. It's not so that people think you're a good person or you don't feel like a bad person. This is the stuff that is the most meaningful to you. You get the most energy. In fact, sometimes you feel guilty because you like it so much. That's a clue. That's a clue. That's important to you. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks at this point. Okay? You've got to choose what's important to you. That segues into the next exercise. Now, honestly, when we do this in the Indie Life Support Program, I don't do this in a 10-minute spurt. We actually really dive super deep, because the deeper you can go into this work, the more successful you're going to be. The less you're going to spend on advertising, the better your blog hits are going to be, the more successful your Facebook interactions are going to be. You could have like a 20 to 50 person list on an email list and actually make money, guys, if you have this down. So it's leading somewhere, but this is a process. Remember, and you're getting a series of videos, so don't worry about it. What's important to you? There's a list there. Okay, there's a list. Is it time to yourself? Is it spending time with family? Is it traveling? Is it being able to go shopping whenever you want? Is it feeling financially secure? Is it getting adequate rest, health, and wellness? What is the most important things to you? What is your priorities? Okay, most people think when they're in business, they have to shift all of their priorities into making money the number one. And that's what stops a lot of indies, is you're not money driven. I get it. You're either service driven, you're driven by your passion for your artwork, you're driven by your love of writing. But if you want to be a professional, part of being a professional is earning an income. So if you want to do that, then you've got to think about what is most important to you. Money doesn't have to be number one, but it needs to factor in there. So know where it sits for you, okay? Know where it sits for you. It's not my number one priority, believe it or not. I know, how weird, right? I used to go in as, here I am, a business coach, which really I'm a strategist. I'm trained as a coach, but I'm really, what I'm great at is picking out strategy. And I go into these meetings and they'd be like, money's not your motivator. How the hell are you in business? I'm like, people are my motivator. I love to help people. I love to watch people excel and find themselves capable. It's a rush, because what I actually really love are puzzles and challenges, because I have a very busy, active brain. And that's why you see me kind of shivering in my chair, moving, because I have a very busy brain. No, I do not have ADHD, although there's nothing wrong with that. But I have a very, very high IQ. And so my brain likes to be challenged. So you with a problem with your business is like, it's like crack. It's like, oh my God, you have a problem and you need it solved and I can do that for you. Oh my God, it's awesome. So that's why I actually do what I do, is I do it to feed my brain, because my brain loves to solve problems. Money, that's a great thing too. That's great. I get to do things I like to do with it. But my prime motive is challenge. Okay, challenge. So you need to find out, what is your prime motive? Is it truly making things beautiful? Is it time for you to create? Is it, from here, we get to make a whole bunch of other decisions. So this is part of making your next year the best year. In the next video, I'm going to skip out of the workbook and kind of jump ahead a little bit. We're going to talk about getting over the ick in the sales process. Okay, because if you want to get more clients and you want to make more sales, or if you want to just sell more of your stuff and you don't like thinking of sales, the next video is really, really important. So, but before you go watch that, what I want you to do is in the comments below, if you have any questions, about figuring out how your interests matches with your business, please put them in the comments below, because it may seem like if you're a bookkeeper and you love baking, if you're a hairdresser and you love to do computer science, those kinds of things may seem like they don't mesh. And I'm going to show you how to make those work out awesome in your marketing.